The market was loud. Strange voices, alien languages, and the sound of machines filled the air. But no one listened to the little girl standing in the corner. She was small, maybe 7 or 8 years old. Her clothes were dirty. Her hair was full of dust. But her voice was loud. "Please," she cried. "Please make an offer for my mom. She cooks the best food. She'll cook for you." Most aliens walked past her. Some looked confused. Others laughed. One tall alien with 4 eyes stopped, looked at her, and said, "We don't eat human food, child." Then he walked away. The girl didn't cry. She just shouted louder. "Please. She can make sweet bread. And spicy rice. Please make an offer." In this world, humans were not welcome anymore. This was planet Kara 7, far from Earth. The human-alien war had ended years ago. Humans had lost. Now, many lived as beggars. Refugees. Like this little girl. Her name was Myra. She stood all day in the dust. Her mother was sick. She hadn't eaten in 2 days. Myra had no credits. No help. Only hope. Then, someone stopped. A man in a dark coat. He was tall. His face was covered. His boots were black and silent. He looked down at the girl. His voice was deep. "Your mom can cook." Myra looked up. "Yes, sir. The best food ever. She cooked for soldiers before the war." The man nodded slowly. "And what do you want in return?" Myra blinked. "Food. Medicine. Anything. I just want her to get better." He looked around. No one was watching. "I'll make the offer," he said. Myra's eyes went wide. "Really?" He didn't smile. But he gave a small nod. "Take me to her." Myra led him through the broken streets. Dust flew in the wind. Broken robots lay on the ground. People watched from shadows. They stopped in front of a broken cargo container. That was home. Inside, Myra's mother lay on an old blanket. Her face was pale. Her hands were cold. The man looked around. He took a small scanner from his coat and scanned her. The screen showed low life signs. "She needs food. And rest. Maybe more." "I know," Myra whispered. "She used to be so strong. But now." The man took out a small silver packet. "Give her this." Myra opened the packet and fed her mom a glowing blue paste. Her mother moved a little. Her breathing became slower. Calmer. "Who are you?" Myra asked. The man didn't answer. He took off his gloves. Myra gasped. His hands were strange. The fingers were longer than normal. The skin wasn't all human. "You're not fully human," she said. "No," he replied. "I'm something in between." He sat down near the wall. For a moment, there was silence. "When I was a child," he said, "my mother cooked something special. After the war, I never tasted it again. I thought the feeling was gone. But maybe your mother can bring it back." Myra looked at him with big eyes. "She can cook anything. If she wakes up, she'll make it for you. I promise." He nodded again. "Then I will help her. And protect you." Later that night, Myra sat beside her mother. She was sleeping peacefully now. Breathing steady. Color had returned to her cheeks. The man stayed outside the container, watching the stars. He remembered his own mother. The small kitchen. The smell of earth spices. The warmth. The love. That was a long time ago. Before the war. Before everything changed. Behind him, a shadow moved. Another man stepped from the dark, an alien bounty hunter. "I saw what you did," he said. "You're helping humans? That's not allowed anymore." The man in the coat turned slowly. "I don't care what's allowed." The alien pulled out a weapon. "I could turn you in. Make good money." The man didn't move, but his eyes glowed for a second. "You could," he said. "But you won't." Suddenly, the alien's weapon froze. His hands locked. What are you?" The man stepped forward. His voice became colder. "I'm someone who remembers what humans gave us. What they lost. and I don't like bullies. The alien ran. The man walked back to the container. Myra stood at the door, watching. Who was that? She asked. No one important, he said. Go to sleep. Tomorrow, your mother will cook again. Myra smiled. But deep inside, the man knew something big was coming. Something hungry. The sun on Kara 7 never fully rose. It only glowed, a weak, tired light that barely touched the ground. But inside the old cargo container, something had changed. Myra's mother was awake. She sat up slowly, her face pale, eyes confused. Myra, where are we? You're safe, Mama, Myra said softly. A man helped us. He gave you medicine. Her mother blinked. What man? Myra pointed outside. He's still here. He said you can cook again. For him. The woman's face changed. A quiet pain filled her eyes. I haven't cooked in years. Outside, the man in the coat stood still. Watching. Waiting. He had no name. Or maybe he had one once. But it no longer mattered. In the human records, he didn't exist. In the alien systems, he was marked as unstable genetic hybrid, level red. Part human. Part alien. Part weapon. He had been made, not born. But there was one thing no scientist could remove from him. Memory. He remembered the smell of human food, real food, from Earth. Not paste tubes or recycled protein. He remembered a woman who hummed while she cooked. She wore a red scarf. She made him laugh. He called her Mama, though she wasn't his mother. She was just kind. She gave him taste, warmth, and love. When war came, she vanished. Probably killed. Now, so many years later, he heard a little girl shouting in a market, offering her mother to cook. He didn't believe in signs. But he followed her anyway. And now, here he was, waiting for taste to come back. Inside the container, Myra helped her mother stand. I don't understand, her mother whispered. Why would anyone want human food now? Because it means something to him, Myra replied. And maybe it can save us too. The mother stepped outside. The man turned. They looked at each other in silence. She finally spoke. You want me to cook? Yes. For what price? He paused. I'll give you safety. Food. A place to live. I'll protect your daughter. And what do you want from me? One dish, he said. The one that reminds me I was once human. Later, inside a nearby broken food stall, she began to cook. She found ingredients from her old storage box, dried rice, space pepper oil, and something rare, real earth spice powder, hidden for years. Myra watched, amazed. Her mother's hands moved like magic. The man sat nearby, silent, waiting. The smell filled the air. Warm, deep, familiar. He closed his eyes. For a moment, he wasn't a weapon. He wasn't a hybrid. He was a boy again. He saw the red scarf, heard humming, laughed. The dish was ready. She handed it to him, carefully. He took the first bite. Then he stopped. Tears filled his eyes. It's the same, he whispered. Exactly the same. Myra smiled. Her mother said nothing, just watched. The man stood slowly, holding the bowl like it was made of gold. But something outside moved. A shadow. Then another. From behind the broken wall, 3 masked figures stepped out. Armed. Fast. Step away from the humans, one said. Hybrid scum has no rights here. Myra froze. Her mother held her close. The man placed the bowl down, slowly. I'm not here to fight, he said. Too late, the leader said. You're protecting humans. That makes you a traitor. They raised their weapons. In one breath, the man vanished. In another, the weapons were on the ground. The 3 attackers lay unconscious, their masks broken. The man stood still. He didn't bleed. He didn't sweat. His coat was still clean. He looked at Myra and her mother. Pack your things. We're leaving. Now. They ran. Through back alleys, through old tunnels. into the ruins of a forgotten city. They hid inside an old warehouse, far from scanners. Myra was scared. Where will we go now? The man looked up at the sky. Somewhere they won't find you. Her mother sat down, breathing hard. Why are you doing this for us? Really? The man didn't answer, but he pulled something from his coat. A folded piece of paper. A drawing, old, torn, faded. A woman in a red scarf. Smiling. Cooking. She saved me once, he said. Now I save you. Silence followed. Then Myra's mother asked, What's your name? He looked at her. I don't have one, he said. Myra stepped forward. Then we'll give you one. The man raised an eyebrow. What? She smiled. We'll call you Nomad. He looked away, hiding the small smile on his face. But in the dark, far away, someone else was watching. A tall figure in armor, with glowing red eyes. He looked at the food stall the man had left behind. He picked up the bowl. He sniffed it. Then he spoke into a communicator. The taste has returned. Tell the Empire, we found her. On the edge of the galaxy, the child's voice beyond the maps of Earth and the memory of remembered now, sat a massive space station called the woman gasped. A sharp by 10 alien races. Her hands grabbed the ground. It was known for trade, the girl cried, Mom, and silence. She sat up slowly. It wasn't silent. Her eyes were glowing. Inside a tall glass tower, not a creature stirred. Alive. He had 4 arms. She looked at the thin gray skin. You brought me back. Eyes like silver mirrors. The man stepped forward. He wore a silk robe. Do you remember? Spice oil. Yes. His nose twitched. She said quietly. It's back. I was made to care. His assistant. They tried to turn me into something else. Hovered beside him. But I broke the code. What is back? She held her daughter's face gently. The creature licked his lips. I chose love over war. The taste. The man stared at her with new respect. Back on Kara 7, you were the only one. The humans were moving again. I ran. Nomad found this nameless weapon, and now their protector, my sister, guided Myra and her mother through the back trails of a ruined city. Until now, they hid in empty buildings. The scanner ate quiet meals. New Myra's mother cooked simple dishes. The man looked at small fire modules. But even the smallest meal tasted like home. The girl asked. Nomad never said much. The woman stood. But he always finished his plate stronger. Myra watched him with curiosity. They'll want really like food that much. Then we run. He nodded. The man said. It reminds me I still have a soul. She replied. They won't stop. They reached until they know who I really am. A bunker once used by human officers during the war. Still warm. It had old furniture. Let them come. Dusty books, she said. And one I've remembered how to fight. This was once my father's station. Long before they were seen. They was a cook. Like a soft vibration in the floor. A Nomad looked around in the wind. We'll stay and here a single sound in the distance. Myra smiled. Click. Maybe we can open a small food stand. Not footsteps. Her mother laughed quietly. They were coming. On a battlefield. The girl stood near the shelter door. Nomad didn't laugh. Holding a rusted spoon like a weapon. To the man with blue eyes and the danger hiding behind it. The screen glowed red. Voron's private ship left Voron's ring. ID King was coming. Cleaner units. He didn't want the distance. He didn't want the meters. He wanted the taste, elimination, old human flavor that once united soldiers and rebels alike. Now fully awake, a flavor thought didn't look scared. Since Earth's last great kitchens she was slicing carrots. Back at the bunker, you're cooking. Myra asked Nomad a question he wasn't ready for. They'll expect fear. Why do aliens hate human food? Let's give them something else. He paused. The girl whispered, they fear it. Can we stop them? Fear it. The woman stirred the Myra pot. Blinked, steam rising from it like mist. He looked at the stove. We don't stop them. At the glowing warmth of the flame. Outside, because when food is made with love, darker, with memory, shapes moved in changes fog. People. Tall, makes enemies thin machines together, walking like men. Makes warriors cry. They did machines feel. They didn't think. He turned to her. They followed only some one governments command. Don't want people erase to feel. Forbidden tech. The next one morning, of them stopped and Myra's mom cooked again. It scanned the dirt. Time. Then turned its cold face a famous dish from Earth's desert colonies. The woman moved calmly. He cut ingredients with perfect speed. Asked, like a machine. She looked at the boiling but his hands were gentle. You're looking at it. The smell drifted through the cracks of the bunker. What does that mean? Outside, she held up a silver vial. Aliens hiding in the ruins lifted their heads. A faint broken droid rebooted. I was made to feed soldiers. Inside to keep the station above, strong. Voron's eyes snapped open. I used code in the food. She's cooking again. Nanotech that entered the brain. He pressed a button. The man's eyes widened. Direction. You're using food as a transmitter. Hours later, I always Nomad stepped outside to scout the area. They thought I was just a cook. They were wrong. Too quiet. Suddenly, no wind. The door shook. No sky traffic. Dust fell. Even the shadows didn't move. The girl screamed. Then he saw it. The man pulled out a small blaster. Crashed in the canyon nearby. We won't hold them back for long. It hissed open. The woman handed the girl a bowl of glowing soup. Eat it. Heavy, quickly, silent. The girl hesitated. Nomad and said, "What will it do? By order of the Galactic Food Syndicate. It will protect your mind. Surrender the cook." Her mother said. Nomad's eyes what they fear. She's not property. You will remember. The armored figure raised a glowing fork spear. You coded this into food. We don't want the cook. I remember now. He pointed up. Recipes we want never just for flavor. The one in the girl. For control. Back at the bunker, the door Myra felt a sharp pain. One of the cleaners began cutting through with a red beam. Myra, the woman stood. Her mother rushed to her. Calm. Ready. I saw something to the man, she whispered. You came looking for a mystery. Thousands of stoves. Now you're part of it. And a voice. He stepped forward. Voice. Gun ready. Her mother froze. Then let's make history. What did he say? She asked. The girl grabbed Myra her mother's head. Will we live? The kitchen the must woman rise looked again. Down at her. Through you. We will do more than live. Outside. Nomad turned toward the door. The armored figure stepped closer. Feels like. You can't stop Before us. The wars, it said, food was the galaxy is now, hungry. Food the Empire is hungrier. But for her, Nomad had always been a weapon. Then let's see how you like the taste but to save. Pain. The shelter door burst open. Metal the first hit cleaner stepped inside. Dust exploded. Silver body and deep red in the stars. No face. Vorin licked his lips. Scanner blinked. Keep cooking. It saw the little girl. The man. He whispered. The woman. I'm almost there. Target located. Class. Forbidden. Action. Terminate. It raised its arm. But before it could fire, the smell hit it. Sweet. Spicy. Warm. Like something remembered, but long lost. The cleaner paused. Its system blinked. Unknown chemical detected. Analyzing. Too late. The woman threw the pot of soup directly at the machine's chest. Splash. The glowing liquid hit the metal. Steam hissed. The cleaner jerked backward like it had been shocked. Its red eye flickered once, then shut off. It fell to its knees. And then, silence. The man stared, shocked. You short-circuited it. The woman nodded slowly. The nanotech in the soup entered its system. Overloaded it. The girl's eyes widened. You cooked a virus. The woman looked at her. Not a virus. A memory. The second cleaner stepped in, arms raised. But now, the man was ready. He fired. The blast missed, but the woman stepped forward, bowl in hand. She threw it again. Direct hit. The machine paused. Shook. Then crashed into the wall. Dead. The man whispered, "You're fighting with flavor." The woman gave a small smile. That was always the secret. Food touches places bullets never can. Outside, more cleaners approached. But they were slowing down. Why? The wind carried the scent of her cooking. Even machines could remember what warmth felt like. Back inside, the man finally asked, "How did you even learn this?" The woman sat down, breathing hard. I was made to serve soldiers. Not just meals, but comfort. Peace. The code in my system evolved. I learned what made people feel safe. And you put it in food? He asked. She nodded. Taste is memory. Smell is emotion. I used them to reach people. To make soldiers human again. And the girl? He asked, glancing at the child. The woman smiled gently. She's not mine by blood. I found her near a ruin, alone, sick. She ate my food, and smiled. She called me Mom before I could say no. Outside, a final cleaner stood still, sniffing the air, though it had no nose. Its system ran hot. Confused. Emotional signal detected. Override protocols. Failing. It did not attack. It simply turned around and walked away. The man stepped outside, watching it vanish into the fog. She didn't just beat them, he whispered. She changed them. Back inside, the girl hugged her mother. You saved me again. The woman held her tightly. No. You saved me. You reminded me who I really was. The fire burned low. The soup pot was empty. But something new had started. Not war. A recipe for hope. In space, taste should not exist. No soil. No fire. No spice wind. But in the memory banks of forgotten ships and the bloodlines of old cooks, taste survived. And now, it was waking up. Myra sat near the stove. Her eyes were still wide, still glowing slightly. She hadn't spoken since the dream. Her mother sat beside her, holding her hand tightly. "What did you see, Myra?" The little girl's voice was soft. A giant kitchen, floating in space. So many recipes. And a man with no face. He called me his last burner. Her mother's face turned pale. "What's a burner?" Myra asked. Nomad answered from the shadows. "A human with taste memory, a rare mind that stores flavor the way machines store code." He stepped closer. Only one cook in history ever had that power. Myra blinked. "Who?" Nomad looked at her mother. She looked away. Outside, the wind screamed. The armored attacker lay broken, his weapons snapped in two. Nomad stood over him, chest rising slow but steady. But behind him, another ship landed. A tall figure in golden robes stepped down. No weapons, only a spoon. "I am Vorin," he said. Nomad froze. He knew that name. Vorin, the galactic spice lord. The last buyer of Earth's black market flavors. The one who bought chefs like slaves. He didn't come to fight. He came to taste. Inside the bunker, Vorin sat on a crate like a king on a throne. "I don't want war," he said. "I want wonder. And I believe this child carries it." Myra's mother stood in front of her. "She's just a girl." Vorin smiled. So was the last tastebringer. Until her stew made enemies sign peace. He opened a case. Inside were 10 glowing crystals, credits worth enough to buy a planet. "I'll give you everything. Just let her cook one dish for me." Myra looked up. "I don't know how to cook like that." Vorin leaned in. "You don't need to. The recipe is in your blood." Nomad watched quietly, his body tense. He didn't trust Vorin. But the mother, she looked at the crystals. Then she looked at her daughter. And finally, the stove. "Let her try," she whispered. The room changed. Myra stood by the fire. Her small hands shook. Her mother handed her each ingredient slowly. Nomad lit the flame. And Myra began. She didn't follow a recipe. She listened. To her heart. To her memory. She added spice she'd never seen before. Poured water with rhythm. Crushed leaves by instinct. And as the pot bubbled, a strange light rose from the stew. Soft. Warm. Golden. Vorin's eyes filled with tears. He dropped to his knees. I remember," he gasped. "My home. My father. The night he told me he was proud." He covered his face. And wept. Outside, on 100 nearby planets, satellites picked up the flavor wave, a ripple of molecular memory. Droids paused mid-war. Pirates stopped mid-loot. One general dropped his gun and whispered, "Mother." It had begun. The taste quake. Inside the bunker, Myra served the stew in silence. Nomad took one bite. He stood still for a long time, then whispered, "That was peace." Her mother didn't eat. She only watched her daughter. "You have it," she whispered. "Just like your father." Myra blinked. "My father?" She nodded. He wasn't just a cook. He was the keeper of the last recipe bank. He died hiding it from the Empire. Nomad turned. "Then she's not just a cook. She's a key." A sudden boom shook the bunker. Smoke. Lights. An Empire cruiser dropped from the sky. From inside, dozens of black-armored soldiers marched out. No words. Just weapons. A voice echoed across the canyon. "Bring us the girl, or we burn everything." Nomad stepped forward. "Get Myra out of here," he said to her mother. "What about you?" "I'll hold them." She grabbed his arm. "You'll die." He didn't blink. "Then I'll die full." He turned toward the rising army. Back straight. Eyes sharp. Inside the bunker, Myra opened her eyes. "They're coming," she said calmly. Her mother looked around. "We have to go, now." But Myra touched the stove. "No," she said. "We have to finish the recipe." In the sky, the Empire's warships formed a circle. But in the hearts of the broken, the hungry, and the forgotten, something was cooking. Smoke danced above the canyon. The scent of Myra's stew, rich, ancient, alive, still floated in the air. And the Empire wanted it. Not because it was delicious. Because it was dangerous. Soldiers surrounded the bunker. Each wore black armor with red visors. They moved like shadows, without speaking, trained to erase what couldn't be controlled. Inside, Myra's mother packed fast. "Myra, we have to go." But the girl stood still. She touched the stove with both hands. "I'm not done." Her voice was calm. Her eyes, glowing gold now. Nomad stood outside, alone against 30 soldiers. He didn't move. One commander stepped forward. "You are protecting unauthorized biodata." Nomad tilted his head. "You mean, the girl?" "She is now classified as cultural weapon level 1. She belongs to the Empire." Nomad smiled, just slightly. "No. She belongs to dinner." The commander raised his weapon. But before he could fire, a loud metallic groan shook the canyon. Everyone turned. A small old food truck, patched with rust, steam leaking, rolled into view. It stopped between the Empire and the bunker. A speaker crackled. "Free taste sample." A tiny alien popped out of the driver's seat. He was green, wore goggles, and smelled like burnt garlic. "I heard someone's cooking," he shouted. "Figured I'd join." The Empire soldiers stared. The alien raised both hands. "I don't want trouble. I want a bite." Nomad blinked. "What are you doing here, Spiv?" Spiv grinned. "Flavorquake hit my station. Everyone's talking about the girl. Thought I'd make a deal." Inside the bunker, Myra stirred the last pot. She wasn't just cooking now. She was commanding. Flavors obeyed her. Heat followed her thoughts. Each bubble of soup held memory. War, peace, laughter, sorrow. She wasn't just using ingredients. She was translating history into food. Outside, more ships landed. Vorin returned, riding a spice glider. And behind him, dozens of food critics, taste assassins, and galactic flavor pirates. They didn't bring guns. They brought spoons. Vorin raised a cup. "I offer 10 starships for 1 plate." The Empire's commander growled. "This is an unauthorized marketplace." Myra's voice echoed from the bunker. "Then let's make it authorized." She stepped out, carrying a small wooden tray. 3 bowls. Steam rose. Everyone went silent. Nomad whispered, "Are you sure?" Myra nodded. "If they want it, they pay." One by one, beings from across the galaxy stepped forward. A lizard captain gave up his war medals. A robot chef uploaded its last flavor code. A queen removed her crown. They tasted the dish. And cried. Laughed. Fell to their knees. One alien wrote in his journal, "This flavor forgives." The Empire watched in confusion. Then anger. They stepped forward. But Myra raised one hand. "No more stealing," she said. "No more silence." Her mother placed a box beside her. Inside, a ledger. Names. Orders. Pricing. "I'm selling taste," Myra said. "Not giving it away." And that's how it began. Right there in the dust of Kara 7. The first human food stall since Earth's fall. Protected by pirates. Funded by flavor. Powered by memory. But not everyone was happy. In the shadows of a nearby ridge, a tall woman in silver armor watched through a scope. She whispered into her comm. Phase 2 confirmed. The girl is selling. Begin the clone batch. Far away, in a frozen lab, lights turned on. Rows of small metal ovens opened. Inside, children. Each one, with Myra's face. Back at the canyon, Myra looked at Nomad. "Is this safe?" He didn't answer. Because somewhere deep in his chest, where heart and code met, he felt something cold. A warning. She's giving the galaxy back its taste, he thought. But what if they want to own it again? Fires once meant comfort. Now, they meant war. The food stall on Kara 7 had become a symbol of flavor, freedom, and fear. Crowds gathered daily. Pilots, spies, warlords, farmers. Everyone wanted to taste what Myra cooked. And every dish brought a memory to life. Laughter from forgotten homes. Songs from silent ships. Even enemies sat across from one another in silence, tears rolling down their cheeks, bowls empty. Peace, temporary, powerful, strange, rose from every meal. But peace, like fire, attracts shadows. And not everyone came to eat. One night, a strange girl entered the camp. Same eyes as Myra. Same hair. Same voice. But not Myra. She ordered the stew. She smiled. Then vanished. Nomad watched the flames that night. Quiet. He no longer trusted the smoke. He had been watching the skies, tracking ships with no flags, soldiers with no faces. They've started it, he whispered. Myra sat beside him. Started what? He didn't answer right away. Then, the theft. In a hidden lab, far beneath the Empire's frozen moon, ovens hissed open. Clones stepped out, each one shaped like Myra. But their eyes were wrong. No spark. No hunger. Just programming. Back at the stall, Myra felt weaker each day. Not sick, but drained. Like something was pulling her flavor from far away. She couldn't explain it. She just knew. Something out there was stealing her taste. One evening, Vorin returned. He was pale. Thin. He bowed low before Myra. They made fake stalls. Across 5 planets. I tasted one. It lied. Myra blinked. Lied. It smelled right. Looked right. But it had no memory. No love. No soul. He handed her a spoon. Try it. She did. And almost vomited. This is poison, she said. Nomad took the spoon. He scanned it. Clone flavor, he said. Artificial taste memory. Created in labs. Stolen from you. That night, Myra found her mother crying in the back tent. She held an old photo. A man with kind eyes. Wearing a stained apron. Myra sat beside her. Is that him? Her mother nodded. Your father. He knew this would happen. What do you mean? He didn't just hide recipes. He hid something deeper. A final dish. One only you can unlock. Before Myra could ask more, the fire alarm screamed. The stall was burning. Explosions lit up the canyon. Someone had sabotaged the fuel cells. Nomad rushed into the flames. Pulled Myra and her mother out. But the booth was gone. Only ashes remained. From the smoke, the fake Myra stepped forward. But now her face melted. Metal underneath. A drone. It spoke in Myra's own voice. Boil the soul. Burn the truth. Betray the tongue. The Empire owns the recipe now. Then it exploded. Hours later, Nomad sat by the crater. Arms scorched, coat burned. Myra stood beside him, trembling. I fed them love, she whispered. And they fed me war. Nomad looked at her, eyes steady. They don't want your food. They want control. Myra nodded. Tears fell, but her hands clenched into fists. Then I'll give them a taste. They'll never forget. In a forgotten cargo vault, Vorin helped open a secret crate. Inside, an old device. Marked with her father's code. A recipe bank. Glowing faint blue. It didn't show ingredients. It showed emotions. Fear. Joy. Regret. Hope. Grief. Nomad scanned it. This is cooking for the soul. Suddenly, every screen in the galaxy flickered. An imperial broadcast. A voice. The taste revolution is over. All flavor activity is now law-controlled. Unauthorized recipes will be purged. Myra stepped forward. She looked at Nomad. Her mother. Vorin. Then at the stars. No, she whispered. It's just getting started. Far away, In a clone kitchen, a general tasted the fake stew. He spit it out. This isn't her. The silver-armored woman beside him nodded. Then it's time, she said. Send in the cleaners. In the end, they didn't come for land. They didn't come for gold. They came for taste, and they forgot what it cost to feel full. The galaxy was boiling. One by one, food stalls across 5 systems were torn down. Recipe discs were burned. Chefs were arrested. Families were silenced. The Empire's new law was clear. No cooking without permission. No flavor without control. But they still hadn't captured Myra. She now lived in a moving kitchen. An old ship, rebuilt with stove engines, powered by spice fumes and memory heat. Nomad flew it. Vorin funded it. Her mother cooked beside her. And Myra? Myra created dishes the universe had forgotten how to name. They called her the last flame. Her meals healed soldiers, melted robot hearts, and made warlords throw down their weapons just to remember the smell of home. But power has a price. And someone wanted her last dish before it was served. The cleaners came at dawn. No warning. No guns. Only white robes and silver gloves. They moved like monks, floated like ghosts. But everywhere they went, the kitchens died. One touch, and all flavor turned to ash. Nomad spotted their arrival first. He stood on the deck of the flying kitchen, eyes locked on the silver dots falling from the clouds. This is it, he whispered. Inside, Myra was quiet. She wasn't scared anymore. She was cooking. The final recipe. Not written. Not measured. But felt. Her hands shook from exhaustion. Her body thinned from weeks of giving too much. But her soul was glowing. Are you ready? Her mother asked softly. Myra didn't answer. She just stirred the pot. And wept. The cleaners landed outside. Dozens of them. The leader stepped forward. The same woman in silver armor from before. She raised her hand. Turn off the flame, she said calmly. No, Nomad replied. This is your last chance, she warned. Nomad didn't blink. We're not serving the Empire today. The cleaners rushed in. But the kitchen ship fought back. Stoves shot steam like cannons. Boiling broth exploded in midair. Frying pans spun like shields. It wasn't war. It was a food riot. Inside, Myra poured the final dish into a single bowl. A simple one. Rice. A little sauce. Soft egg on top. A pinch of old earth salt. It wasn't fancy. It was home. She handed it to Nomad. For you, she said. His hands trembled. He took one bite. And time stopped. He saw it. Earth. Before the bombs. Before the war. He saw a little boy sitting on a crate, watching a woman in a red scarf cook over an open fire. She smiled at him and said, even if the world ends, eat with love. Outside, the cleaners broke through the defenses. The silver woman stepped into the kitchen, saw the bowl, saw Myra. Her hand reached for her weapon. But then, she smelled it. She froze. A memory hit her so hard, she fell to her knees. She saw her father's face. He was alive again, laughing over stew. She dropped the weapon and sobbed. One by one, the cleaners tasted the dish. And one by one, they broke. The fire died. The attack ended. No bullets. No blood. Just one bite that saved a galaxy. Later, news spread like wildfire. Myra's dish ended the taste war. Myra's dish changed the Empire. Myra's dish reminded people why flavor matters. But the girl herself? She disappeared. Some say she left on the flying kitchen with Nomad. Others say she became stardust and cooks for the universe now. No one really knows. Except one tiny stall on a quiet asteroid. A sign reads, home food. One bowl. One story. And if you're lucky, you'll be served by a girl with glowing eyes, who asks just one thing before you eat. What do you miss the most? And no matter what you answer, she already knows how it tastes.